Hello and welcome to Made with Carlenergy. This is episode 6. I'm Carlene. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Carlenergy. I do have a blog for show notes at carlenergy.blogspot.com. I've been a little lazy about getting those up on a timely basis, but I will try to be better about that. And there is a Ravelry group, so if you search for Made with Carlenergy podcast in the groups tab on Ravelry, you can find us and please come do say hello. I'm recording on October 4th. Today is Sunday, and I didn't put out an episode last week. Time just got away from me, and I was feeling kind of stressed out with work and just life, and even knitting. I was feeling kind of stressed. I was feeling like I wasn't getting as much done as I wanted to. So yeah, I just didn't get a chance to record. But that means that I have a lot more to show for this week, so I'm really happy to be sitting down and talking to you all for a little while. It's going to be a pretty full episode, so I hope you have a nice beverage and some knitting. I have been keeping up with all the other podcasters this week, and that's been so nice. It's been such a nice escape from the stress for a little while to watch an episode and do some knitting and have some tea. So thank you all so much for all of your videos. I've really been enjoying seeing all of your projects, and I've been watching some new podcasts and or new to me at least. And yeah, you all just are so great and so lovely. So I'm really grateful for this community. And I do want to say hello to Ellen, who hosts the Idle Cat Knits podcast. Ellen had introduced herself to me on Ravelry, and I definitely have. I think I've heard of this podcast a couple times and just hadn't gotten a chance to go over and check it out. And so I watched the latest episode this morning, and really enjoyed it. Ellen is wonderful. Her personality is really great, and she has a really nice tone to her podcast. And what I really love is that she's doing a sock yarn scrap blanket with a zoom loom, so one of those tiny little square looms, and so she's weaving scrap sock yarn and then seaming the woven squares together. So I thought that was a really unique and fun take on the sock yarn blanket. So yeah, I have one finished object this week. I have an almost finished object. I have a little bit of spinning to show you. I have one new work in progress. It's just a pair of socks, but I will show you, of course. And I have, I just want to talk a little bit about Rhinebeck, which is coming up quickly, and I want to go over the knit along that I am going to be hosting this month. So, okay, here we go. I have my finished pair of socks, which I actually have on my feet right now, so I'm going to take them off to show you. These are my Rose City rollers, and I really love them. They are with Patton's Croy socks. So this was the spring leaf colorway, and the last time I recorded I had shown you that I knew I was going to run out of yarn for the second sock, so I threw some other Patton's Croy that I had in there. And yeah, so obviously they don't match, they're a little silly, but who cares? They're warm and functional. And yeah, this is a free pattern on Ravelry. I'm sure you've seen it. It's been all over the place. A lot of people have made these, and I can see why now. I didn't think I would. I didn't know if I would like short socks, but I really do. They're really comfortable, and it's nice when I don't want a totally like super warm sock. If I just want my feet covered, these are really great. So I knit them on US size 1, which is 2.25 millimeter, and I think that's going to be my new standard size for knitting socks. I was using a 2.5, or did I say? So a US 1 is a 2.25, and I had been using a size US 1.5, which is 2.5 millimeters, and I was realizing that my socks were coming out a little bit loose, and so I went down to the US 1 and I did 64 stitches, which is what I usually do for my socks, and I do like the fit a lot better. So that might be my new standard. Of course, if it's a thicker sock yarn, I might go up to the 1.5, or if it's a very thin sock yarn, I might try a US 0, but I like the US 1s, so I'm going to put those back on my feet. And I need some coffee. And the other almost finished object is my Bellows cardigan, which I'm obviously wearing, and I am so cozy, everyone. Oh my goodness, I am so excited about this sweater. There's that magical kind of moment, or I guess it's a collection of moments because it does take a while to actually have this happen, but there's just that point on a project, especially if it's I think if it's something that you have to seam together, where you're making all these pieces and it's kind of you're kind of disconnected to it, I think, or at least I feel this way, where I know what it's going to be. I know it's going to be a sweater, and I know what the finished project is going to look like, but when you have when you have 4 pieces of something, it doesn't really feel real until you start sewing it together and you can put your arm into a sleeve and realize, oh wow, now I'm going to be able to wear this. So yeah, I had that I had that moment yesterday, and it just feels really good to have this almost done. I do have to finish the pockets that I added, and I have to sew the buttons on, but I mean, it's basically a wearable item right now, so I wanted to put it on to record. So yes, this is the Bellows cardigan by Michelle Wong. It was in the Brooklyn Tweed Fall 2014, I want to say. So there's the model, and obviously my pattern has been well loved. So I knit this in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter, which is the yarn it calls for, and it's a worsted weight yarn, but you hold 2 strands together. So I held 1 strand of the postcard colorway, which is this very light pinkish gray, or not really. Yeah, it's kind of pink with some gray undertones and little flecks of red. Very light, subtle color. And then with that, I held a strand of the blanket fort colorway, which is one of my favorite colorways from Brooklyn Tweed. So this is a nice rich lavender with, again, flecks of red, some flecks of blue, and I love the color that those two ended up making when they were held together. It's this nice marled, heathered color. And I knit this on the recommended needle size, which was a US size 11 for the main body, and then a US 10 for all of the ribbing, including the button band. And I'm using smaller buttons than what's called for. I'm using 1-inch buttons. It calls for 4 1.5-inch buttons, but I'm using 1-inch buttons, which I haven't sewn on yet, obviously. But these are my buttons, and I picked these out with the help of the ladies at my local yarn shop. I bought these at Black Sheep Yarns in Kent, Connecticut. And I picked these out because they have the kind of the same colors. I don't know what stone that is, but it's a stone inlay, and yeah, it matches up with the marled effect of the 2 yarns held together. So I'm hoping to get these sewed on today, or sewn on today, but I wanted to record before I got involved with that. And I also added side seam pockets to the sweater. The pattern doesn't call for pockets, but I really wanted to add them. So I took a leap of faith, and I used instructions from this book called Finishing School by Deborah Newton. This is a really interesting book if you haven't seen it yet. There's a lot of interesting finishing techniques and also a lot of embellishing techniques for adding embroidery or edgings or just really unique things in this book. I've found it's even if it's something that I don't know if I'd ever do, it's really interesting to read about it, and it's been giving me ideas for other things. So anyway, yes, I looked up instructions to do side seam pockets with this book, and this book is written kind of in a style like Elizabeth Zimmerman, where the instructions are more in a paragraph kind of storytelling form rather than set instructions like list by list instructions. So when I was reading the instructions for the side seam pockets, I was a little confused and I wasn't quite sure how it all would work, but it does make sense once you actually do it and get to what she's talking about. So I actually drew a little diagram to kind of explain this. So what you do is you add these little, they're called pocket facings, and they're these little tabs on the edges of your pieces. So I knit the ribbing, and then I think I knit a couple rows past the ribbing, and then you have to cast on stitches at the edge, and then so that becomes part of your edge for several rows, and then you bind off and then continue as normal. So you get these little tabs on each edge of your back, and then this is one front, and then obviously there would be another front. So I had a pocket facing on each edge of the front, and then when you're sewing the seam of when you're sewing your back and fronts together, you get up to the point where you have your pocket facing, and then the pocket facings fold in and meet up with each other. So that'll make more sense when I actually show you. So here are what were the two tabs on each side, and then now they meet up and form this nice little outside of the pocket. And I think this one on over here came out a little bit neater looking. This one, the edges didn't quite meet up as I was seaming, so it's a little wonky, but I'm not really worried about it at all. I think it still looks pretty good. And I haven't so this is what it looks like on the inside. I haven't actually, so now I have to pick up stitches around each edge and actually knit the pocket. So yeah, right now they're just holes, but I'm really happy with that. I think it worked out better than I expected, because I've been nervous through the whole time because obviously that's like the bottom of the sweater, so if I had realized that wasn't going to work out, I'd have a lot to rip out if it wasn't going to work. So yeah, it turned out really, really well for my first time adding pockets, I think. I think if I was going to do it again, I would have made the pocket a little bit higher, because I'm a little worried about like my hand, like the pocket bottom going lower than the sweater, but I'm going to knit the pocket so that it goes this way more versus straight down. So I think it'll be okay. Yeah, those are my pockets, or soon to be actual pockets. And yeah, this sweater is, I think if you see me at any point during the next probably 4 months, I will probably be wearing this sweater. It turned out just kind of really exactly as I imagined, if not better. And what I was really going for with this one was, it is styled as kind of an old fisherman's type of sweater, and I wanted it to kind of feel like something that I might have found at a thrift store, and just, you know, those pieces that you find at a thrift store and fall in love with, and then they're your new, you know, they're kind of like just end up being signature pieces in your wardrobe. And that's definitely what this is going to be. I can see myself wearing it just to hang out in. I can see myself, I'm definitely going to be wearing it out a lot. It's just an all-around really cozy, comfortable sweater, and I think it's going to be a piece that I have for like the rest of my life, which is just great. So I'm just, yeah, very, very happy. I think I've covered it. Yeah, I think that's about it for the Bellows. And this is my Rhinebeck sweater, so I am almost Rhinebeck ready. I'm just about there. Yeah, I think I am going to. Oh, so the other thing I wanted to say is, um, I so on Friday I barely had any of this done. I had knit the back over the last uh, 2 weeks, and then so all the pieces were done by I think Wednesday of this week, and then I blocked it. I blocked it Wednesday or Thursday night, I think, and then on Friday I sewed the shoulder seams, and then I brought all of that to my local yarn shop, Black Sheep Yarns in Kent, Connecticut, and brought everything there yesterday, which was Saturday, because I wanted a little advice on doing the button band, picking up the stitches, and mostly I was concerned with placing the buttonholes because I am using smaller buttons, so I'm using 5 buttons instead of 4 buttons, which is what it calls for. And so I've modified button bands to do that before, where I had more buttons than what it called for, but I just wanted to make sure I was doing that right. And also, I think since the finishing parts of projects are usually what hold me up, I usually fly through the knitting sometimes really quickly, but then, the seaming is just something that I never really look forward to. So it's been really helpful for me to bring that kind of stuff to the local yarn shop, and that way I'm like sitting there for a focused amount of time, and I have other people there to help me out if it's not going quite right or if I have questions. And yeah, it really helps me to focus and actually get that part done, versus if I was home, I think I would just pick up another project and knit instead of focusing on seaming. So when I brought it to the yarn shop yesterday, nothing was seamed. I had just the shoulder seams done, and I had to pick up stitches for the button band. So I did all of that while I was at the yarn shop, and I think I got to about this point because the collar is shaped with short rows. So I was maybe halfway through the button band when I left the yarn shop, and then I got home. So I was at the yarn shop from probably around 2 o'clock in the afternoon until 5 when she closes. And I came home and ate a little bit of dinner and then just kept working on the button band, and got that all finished and bound off. And then I just started seaming. I wasn't going to do that. I was kind of going to take a break on it and work on something else, but I figured, well, I'm on a roll. I'm excited about it, so I'll keep going. So I seamed up one side, and I thought that was going to be it for the night. I thought, well, I'm tired now of seaming, so I'll stop. But then I just kept going because it was so exciting to me that I was at that point where I could start trying it on. And yeah, it was just that magical moment of like realizing that it was going to be a garment instead of just pieces. And so I finished the seaming, and I wove in all the ends on this side. I think, yeah, I still have some ends to weave in on this shoulder, and then yeah, I have to do the pockets and the buttons, but it's really close to being completely finished. And so yeah, I think I went to bed at about 4 in the morning. That was my crazy Saturday night, was seaming together a cardigan, which I'm totally okay with. I feel very productive. I do like to go out and socialize, but it's been rainy. It's been like chilly and wet and rainy anyway, so I was totally okay with just staying in and getting this almost finished. Yeah, so let's see, 2 p.m. until 4 in the morning I was working on this sweater. Yeah, I can't wait to wear it to Rhinebeck. It's the best. It's just the best. So moving on to other works in progress. I started a new sock, and yes, I have a new project bag. I will get to that in a moment. So this is another plain vanilla sock. I've been really into just my plain vanilla socks lately because they're easy and nice auto knitting. So this is Barocco Socks, SOX. So Barocco sock yarn. I'm pretty sure it's I totally lost the ball band for this. I don't know what happened to it, but it's a 75% superwash, 25% nylon blend. And I'm doing 64 stitches on a US size 1 or a 2.25 millimeter needle. And this is colorway 1425. That's the number of the colorway. And I like these a lot. I've had this, I think my parents got me this sock yarn for Christmas a couple years ago. So I'm finally using it, and yeah, I like the stripes, I like the patterning, and I think they're a nice fall pair of socks. So these are going to be for me. I'm trying to get my Operation sock drawer going a little bit. I've made a lot of socks for my dad, and I have a few pairs for myself, but I feel like I need more. So these are for me. And I'm doing, yeah, just a basic slip stitch heel and heel flap and turn. So yeah, that's it for those, and they are in my new project bag from the Freckled Whimsy. So this is a shop by, her name is Carrie, or the Freckled Whimsy on Etsy, and I had seen a bag that she had made with this typewriter fabric a couple months ago, and I really liked it, but it had sold. So I was kind of waiting for more of them to pop up, and then I I had stopped checking in. And then I did check in. I saw on Instagram that she had made one like this. So this is a relatively new size for her shop. She has a bag called the Sock Nanny, which is a little bit taller, and then she has a small project bag, which is a little bit shorter. I think that the small is more like, I don't know, it's a little shallower. So this she calls the tweener, which is in between her Sock Nanny size and her small project bag size. And yeah, I really like this size. So you can fold it over, and it's got this cute alphabet fabric inside. So you can fold it over like a little yarn bowl, which is really great. And I had to have a bag with this fabric because I am a fan of typewriters. I write on one. I don't know if, I'm going to lift my computer up and try to show you, but there's one of my typewriters, and that's where I keep my ball winder and Swift as well, on that little typewriter table. So yeah, I haven't actually sat down and typed anything on that in a while. I've been mostly writing by hand in notebooks, but yeah, I want to get back to using my typewriter. I like to write letters on it. It's just fun, and it sounds cool when you have to change lines, you know, the bell. It's just, I know it's kind of, I guess, hipster, but whatever, I like them. Oh, I'm not used to talking for so long. So yes, I love this bag. It's so cute. Excuse me. I love her little, it's kind of a suede material, her little tags. And this is great, the little handle, because you can either use it as a zipper pull, or she provides this nice little loop for that. And this is definitely going to Rhinebeck with me, because I think if I've heard that it's kind of a good idea to bring a project with you that you can work on while you're standing in line for vendors or food or whatever. So I think this will be great for Rhinebeck, so I can hold it on my wrist and knit my sock. And the other thing is, so this bag was, she had sold one like this, and I messaged her on Etsy and I said, I really like this bag. Do you have enough fabric to make another one? And so she messaged me within a few hours of me sending that and said, let me go home after work and check to see if I have enough fabric. And so yeah, later that night she messaged me and said, good news, I have plenty of the fabric, so I will make you another bag like that. So that was so nice, such great customer service. And so the bag that had sold, she had used a pink zipper on, which matched the little stars, which I thought was really nice. I did like the pink zipper, but I am just I'm more of a green person, so I asked her if she would use a green zipper instead, and she was really sweet. She told me that she had two different green zippers that she could use, so she sent me a picture with the fabrics and then the two zippers next to the fabrics and let me choose which green zipper I wanted. So that was so great. Thank you so much, Carrie. Carrie does have a podcast as well. She records maybe twice a month, once or twice a month, I think. And so go check her out. It's the Freckled Whimsy on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, so I like how it's like a word search, and there's a couple of words you can see. So I have fancy, and then I have love you, and then I think on the strap, the others, it says cutie. So just great, really great bag, really happy with it, and I had to have it because it's typewriters, and I like typewriters. So thank you, Carrie, for customizing that for me and being so great. And she also sends some little goodies when you order. So I have a really cute little button that I'll have to put on a bag for Rhinebeck, and then I really like the shape of her business card. Isn't that cool? Really beautiful. So very nice. And it was all wrapped up in like a nice tissue paper with a sticker and everything. Just really beautiful. So yeah, that's my sock project. I did work a little bit on my Whitecaps cowl. But I think I only added maybe another inch. Maybe not even that. Yeah, there's an inch in there, but I haven't been working on this too much because obviously my cardigan has kind of taken precedent, or not precedent, priority. But so that's my progress marker, which is just an old earring that I lost the other half to, and then yeah, so an inch. I'm still enjoying this project, but it's just it's not something I feel like I need to have done right now. Although I do want these needles back so I can use them for something else. But yeah, I'm not too worried about that one. And I've shown this before, but I do like how this project matches the bag that I'm keeping it in, which is from an antique shop in Kent, Connecticut. The antique shop owner is a really sweet lady, and she has started to make bags. Like, she just makes these for people to take their purchases in if they buy anything. So that's really sweet that she makes these little reusable bags. And of course, as soon as I saw that, I knew immediately that I would be using them for project bags. And next, I think I have spinning. I'll just check my show notes out. So I didn't work on my azalea tank top. It's still in the same state that it was 2 weeks ago. I haven't seamed the sides. I still would like to have that finished for Rhinebeck as well, because if Rhinebeck ends up being a warmer weekend, I do want to have that tank top as a layer under a flannel. I think that would be a nice outfit. But if it doesn't get finished, I'm not gonna be that upset because I did finish my sweater. But yeah, I do want to finish that tank top because it probably only has a couple more hours of work left to put into it, but it's just been kind of sidetracked again. And then I think the last time I recorded, I also showed a Windchief. I don't know how exactly to say it, but it's the Windchief hat pattern by Stephen West, and it's one that I'm making for my brother. That is a leftover Christmas gift from last Christmas, but I haven't excuse me, I haven't really worked on that either, just because, yeah, really I've only been working on my cardigan. Yeah, I want to show you. So this is my note-taking style, which I totally stole from my dad. Something that I really, I guess, what do you call it? Associate with my dad is this is just like a symbol for him where he's always used a yellow legal pad with a red pen to take notes for his job. So I always see these legal pads lying around with red pen on them, and so it's just something I've adopted for myself that, I don't know, it reminds me of my dad, and then, I don't know, it's like just kind of cool that we both are now doing this. So that's how I take my notes. Anyway, on to spinning. I have been working on the yarn that I'm still spinning to finish my Fringe with Benefits shawl, which I've been working on for several months and I've shown before. So I'm spinning a loop bump on a drop spindle. So I got up to another 1.5 ounces on the spindle. So I wound it off again. That's been kind of my standard is I will spin until there's about 1.5 ounces spun onto the spindle, and then I wind it off into a skein and wash it and add it to the scarf. So this is my fresh new skein. I soaked it, so, and snapped it kind of, and yeah, so instead of thwacking it, when it's in a hank, I just pull it like this, and that seems to get it nice and balanced. And yeah, this has been such a fun spin and project. I love adding all the new colors as I spin them. And it's another project where I'm not really too worried about finishing it immediately. It's kind of nice to have it as kind of a slower project, but yeah, I'm really happy with this skein. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen I posted a picture, and then I also posted a video of this to show you all the sparkles. So it's a loop bump. This one is called First of Fall. So this was 5.5 ounces of merino, bamboo, and Angelina. And I got this one as well as another bump, which I'm also using in this scarf in a D-stash on Ravelry. So it's really fun when you spin a loop bump, because when you get the bump, it's like it fills the entire bag, but then as you spin it, it gets a lot of, it starts to swim in its bag, and you're like, wow, I made a lot of progress. So this is where I'm at. I still have some really pretty greens to spin, and yeah, I started spinning some more. But yeah, so that's been nice. It's been nice to take little knitting breaks and spin with this, and I've been adding little bits and pieces still of these other fiber fuzzlings that I have. These are from fondant fiber, which you've probably heard of. Deb is the Wonder Woman behind fondant fiber, and she makes really beautiful things. I think she's based in the UK. And so yeah, so these little bits, like the bits of red and purple, are from those fuzzlings. And yeah, and there's a little bit of teal in there. Pretty, pretty, pretty. And I guess just because I like showing this thing, but this is what this yarn is for, if you haven't seen it yet. This is the Fringe with Benefits shawl scarf thingy by Mindy Ross. And so here's where I'm at. And the reason I'm adding the little bits of the other fiber is because the first bump that I spun for this scarf had bits of recycled sari silk in it. So that's what all of the pink is, and all the little flecks of other colors in here. And it's also beaded. And this olive green, this darker green, is the point where the first bump I spun had run out. So I ran out of yarn here. So now I'm spinning this second bump to continue. And it's I think it's going to be a pretty seamless, like, no one's going to be able to tell that it's two different bumps of fiber because of, yeah, the colors I think are all just really complementary to each other. So I'm really excited to have this finished eventually. Again, I'm not rushing through it because it's just a lovely project to work on, but I think it's also going to be really fun to wear. And it's just really, really soft. It's just, yeah. Um, I didn't really think too much of this project when I don't want to say that. I knew it was going to be fun and beautiful, but it's kind of, it's interesting spinning my own yarn because I'm still kind of, I never know how the project is going to turn out. I guess I'm just not used to knowing what a certain yarn is going to look like once I start knitting with it. So this is turning out really cool. I didn't realize how cool this thing was going to be, so I'm really excited about it. And yeah. And I think that's it for projects. Yeah. Good stuff happened this week. I'm really excited. So now I guess I want to talk a little bit about my plans for Rhinebeck and for the Local Love knit along that I will be hosting this month. So as far as Rhinebeck goes, I've talked a little bit about this before, but I am going to be there on Friday for a spinning class. I'm taking spinning boot camp with Abby Franquemont, and Abby Franquemont is the author of the book Respect the Spindle. So if you are if you have spun with drop spindles, or if you are wanting to learn, or if you've started learning, Respect the Spindle is a really great book. I haven't read it cover to cover by any means, but when I was learning how to spin, I got a lot of good advice and knowledge from that book, and it's definitely a book that I have to revisit and read more because I think I could still, there's still a lot to learn from that book. So yes, Respect the Spindle by Abby Franquemont if you're interested in spinning, especially with drop spindles. And so I'm taking a class with Abby on Friday, and that will be from 9 in the morning until 4 p.m. So it's a nice long day of spinning. And I'm really looking forward to just learning more about what I'm doing with spinning, because I know that I'm getting pretty nice yarn, but I'm not really quite sure like what method I'm using for drafting and what things I could do to be more consistent or to get a yarn, you know, a certain way. So I'm really looking forward to getting yeah, just knowing what I'm doing and how I can alter it to get different types of yarn. And I also definitely want to spin on a bunch of wheels during Rhinebeck. I'm hoping that I get to try some wheels. I'd really like to get a wheel sometime in the future. I don't know if it'll be too near future because yeah, I don't know if I have the the funds to put on a spindle or on a wheel right now, but I definitely want a wheel sometime in the next couple of years for sure. So yeah, I'm excited to try some wheels, and yeah, I will be at Rhinebeck for the whole weekend. I have a Airbnb place, and I'm just can't wait to see a bunch of animals and see some cooking demonstrations and yeah, just everything. Lots of shopping, obviously. Although, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out what I want my budget to be. I think I have an idea of what I want my budget to be, but I'm trying to figure out what I want to buy for. I definitely want to have some projects in mind when I go to Rhinebeck. I think I want to buy a sweater's quantity of yarn and possibly some yarn for 2 different hats that I want to make. And then I want to get some fiber. So I'm really leaning towards getting a sweater's quantity of yarn for the stone cutter pattern, which is a pattern by Michelle Wong. I've been knitting a lot of Michelle Wong patterns lately, but I can't help myself because they're just perfect. So Stonecutter is a cabled pullover, and Kristen from the Yarngasm podcast is making it in Quince and Company, their Lark base, which is a worsted weight wool, and I really like the color that Kristen has chose to make it. And then Laura of the Fawn Knits podcast had mentioned in her episode this week that she kind of wants to make the Stonecutter in the same color as Kristen, the same yarn and everything. And I totally support that idea. I think that's, I'm very tempted to be a copycat as well, because that would be a beautiful sweater. But yeah, I want to look for some yarn for the Stonecutter sweater at Rhinebeck. And then I want to make I think it's called the Oak Crest pattern from the most recent Pom Pom magazine. So I want to get some yarn for that. That's just a worsted weight, and I want to get it in kind of a tonal shaded solid color for that pattern. And then I want to make the Vintage Prim hat, which is a brioche hat by Andrea Mowry, who has really beautiful patterns. And Vintage Prim takes 2 colors of fingering weight, and I've never done brioche before, so I think that would be a really fun project to do as my first brioche project. So those are the 3 things that I'm kind of thinking about buying yarn for at Rhinebeck. And then as far as fiber goes, I still have the rest of that loop bump to spin, and then I have another bump that I've barely broken into. I've spun a little bit of it, but still most of the bump to spin, and then I have 2 others. And Vanessa from Kill to Craft, I hope you're enjoying me saying bump in this episode. Vanessa had said that she likes when I say that, so you've heard it a lot. But anyway, I think I want another loop bullseye bump. I already have a bunch of them, but I feel like I really just want to buy one from Steph in person. The dyer and mastermind behind Loop is her name is Steph Gorin, so I want to meet her and buy one from Rhinebeck. Oh man, I'm rambling a lot. I'm sorry, but I just feel like I can go on since I didn't record last week. So yeah, that's Rhinebeck. Those are my plans kind of for shopping. The thing is, I know I have a lot of yarn. I have a lot of yarn. I have plenty of projects already lined up. So I don't necessarily feel like I need to go crazy. This totally might go out, might totally change once I get to the fairgrounds and see everything and touch everything. And I think it's going to be difficult because it's the kind of thing where I'm going to be going to different booths, and I might see something and think, okay, this is what I want, and then feel like I have to buy it at that moment, because if I then go off and shop at other vendors and try to come back, like I know I'm not going to be able to come back, and like it'll probably, like what I wanted originally is going to be gone, or it's just there's not going to be enough time to like go back and forth. So I'm a little worried about buying things on impulse and then realizing later that I found something else that I liked more. But whatever. I think it's just going to be fun. I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on myself to to get exactly like what I plan to get and things like that. So, but yeah, I mean, I feel like I have so many projects lined up. Like I don't necessarily feel like I want to buy any yarn for any shawls, because I already have a couple shawl patterns that I've already have yarn for and I've already lined up. So I think going with the sweater quantity, and then with the hat patterns that I want to make, and then some fiber is kind of my plan. So, with all that being said, and the other thing about Rhinebeck, okay, I'm not done with Rhinebeck yet. I am planning on attending the podcaster meetup, which is going to be well, there's going to be one at the Indie Untangled Trunk Show, which is at the Best Western in Kingston, New York, and it's the Friday night before the festival. So since I am going to be in Rhinebeck for the workshop on Friday, I'm planning on going to the Indie Trunk Show, and Kristen of Vine Yarns and the Yarngasm podcast, and Laura from the Dyer's Notebook, who dyes Jinx yarns, and Maria from the Subway Knits is going to be there, and Shane from the Nitroversion podcast. I'm pretty sure he's planning on attending. So there's going to be a lot of podcasters there, and I am definitely planning on going. And so if you are going to be in Rhinebeck on Friday night, I'd love to see you there. I think I'm going to make a thread in my podcast group on Ravelry for Rhinebeck. I want to know who's going. I want to know if you're going. I want to know what you're planning on buying, and I want to know if you're doing any workshops, and yeah, just what you're planning to see, and if you're going to be trying to meet up with anybody else, if there's any other podcast group meetups and things like that. So I think I'm going to make a thread on my group to talk about Rhinebeck. So yeah, if you're going to Rhinebeck, I really want to know. And if you do see me, please say hello. Don't be shy. Please come say hello. I'd love to meet you. Okay, so I'm sorry if you can hear the dogs barking. My landlord has a dog and it barks a lot. The dude is being very quiet. I know, yeah, so I didn't bring my parakeet co-host out today because I didn't want him climbing all over my new sweater. But yeah, he's here, and I think maybe the next episode I'll have the dude come on as a co-host again. But I realized in my last episode that so he had been flying around, and then he was just sitting on my keyboard, so he was like right next to the microphone, and he was so loud, and I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize until I watched the episode back that you could kind of hear him a lot more than you could hear me talking, so yeah, I'll have to try to keep him from being on the keyboard while I record. So yeah, he's chattering a little bit, but I think he's taking a little nap right now. Anyway, so the Local Love Knit Along that I'm going to be hosting this month, I think I want to make the official start date October 23rd, which is my birthday. And I don't have any idea of like how long it's going to be yet. I want it to be pretty casual, and if you've already started a project for it, that's totally fine, whatever. And if you end up having a work in progress that would fit in with the theme, then yeah, please feel free to enter it. But I'm going to make a thread on Ravelry for it. So the Local Love Knit Along is going to be all about using yarns from either a local farm near you, or a local mill, or even your local yarn shop if you don't have access to a farm or something like that. But I really want it to be an opportunity for you to learn about the local fiber offerings in your area, and maybe go visit if you have something like that. I know that where I live, there are a lot of sheep farms and alpaca farms, and they're on a pretty small scale. So sometimes, I know that they're all around, but sometimes it's hard to kind of hear about them and know whether they have like open farm days, or if they have a farm store and things like that. So, I really want the Local Love Knit Along to be a fun opportunity for you to learn about the different fiber resources in your area, and go and check them out if you can, and get some yarn and knit something nice out of a yarn that you can really say that you know where it came from. But this can be interpreted however you want it to be. Like there's not really strict rules, of course, because the other thing that you might interpret it as is just like made in your country, like Brooklyn Tweed, and I think Quince & Co. is also a company that is all USA made, and they're very transparent companies where they put a lot of information out there on where the yarn comes from and where it's sent to be spun and where it's dyed and all these things. So that could also be something you think about, is maybe it's not a very, very local yarn, but it's a yarn that is very conscious about where it's sourcing from and yeah, just how it's made and yeah, just where it comes from. What else was I going to say about this? So yeah, that's the plan, is October 23rd as the start date, and you can knit whatever you want. Socks, sweater, shawl. I also want to include spinning, so if you have some local fiber that isn't yarn yet, I would love to see some spinning projects. I don't know what the criteria for that will be as far as like prizes go. I definitely plan on having some giveaways for it. I want to pick up some local yarn from the farms around me, and yeah, just have I have some random goodies that I can put some prizes together with. So yeah, as far as spinning projects go for the knit along, I don't know if I want to have a finished objects thread or if I just want this to be more of a discussion thread and a knit along for a couple months, and then I'll draw prizes from just the general chat thread, which is, I know that Molly of a Homespun House does that. She doesn't have a finished object thread, so you don't necessarily have to finish anything within a certain amount of time. It's just kind of more of a open-ended, you know, an open-ended discussion, which I like the idea of that, where yeah, where it's more of a discussion and a way to show different local yarns. So so I definitely want to see, like, if you go to visit a farm, or if you go to, you know, to visit your local yarn shop or whatever it is that you interpret as local, I want to see pictures, and I want to see yeah, I want to hear about where you got the yarn and stuff like that. So I think that might be be more of what I go for the discussion thread in the group. So that's the plan for that. I'm totally rambling. I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm totally losing track of what I'm supposed to be saying. But yeah, October 23rd is going to be the official start date, and I will get some threads up for that. So I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with. I will show two yarns that I've gotten locally from places around me. This is an alpaca. It's a 250 yards of a 3-ply. I think this is it's kind of a light worsted, maybe DK weight, and this is from Southwind Farms, which is this is 100% alpaca. So this is a farm in Watertown, Connecticut. I've never been to this farm, but my local yarn shop in Kent, Connecticut, Black Sheep, sells this yarn. So I got that there, and this is really pretty. The colorway is called Mint Julep, and it's beautiful and so soft. And I've just been squishing this. I don't know what I want to make with it yet. Maybe some mittens, I think, or a hat. But I've just been really just petting this one a lot because it's so soft and beautiful. My parents bought this for me after I broke my arm this summer. This was like my boo-boo feel better yarn. So this is my alpaca therapy for when I broke my arm. I broke my arm at the end of June, my right arm. So it's getting better now. It still doesn't extend all the way. Like, that's as far as I can open up my arm. But it's getting better. Anyway, so that was my boo-boo yarn, and yeah, I've just been squishing it and coveting it, as Kristen from Yarngasm says. And yeah, so this farm, Southwind Farms, I looked it up online today, and they actually have a open farm day weekend next weekend, or yeah, it's October 11th and 12th, or 10th and 11th, I think. So that's next weekend, and I might try to go to that. I don't know if I want to, just because Rhinebeck is coming up, but I mean, it can't hurt to go see the alpacas. And then The other local to me yarn that I want to show you is from Point of View Farm, which is in, I think it's called Stanfordville, New York, which is about half an hour from me. And this is a 100% purebred fin sheep wool. And this is 150 yards of an Aran weight. And yeah, so that's their logo, and you can find them at finsheep.net. And so this is a nice, this is really soft and squishy and nice and thick, and I wanted to make a hat out of this. Yeah, and I think this might be a natural color. I don't think this is dyed. And I think it might have been hand spun at the farm, because I know that the owner, she has this really beautiful studio. I did visit this farm, so I saw the lambs last spring, and they have this really beautiful studio on the top of like a mountain. They have this amazing mountain view, and they had this sheep up there to visit, and this beautiful studio with a lot of natural light coming in, and she has a little store with some beautiful yarn, and she sells fleeces and raw fiber, and she has a couple different looms and a couple wheels. So I think the owner of the farm might have actually spun this. I'm not sure though, but it's a 3-ply, and it's really beautiful. So that's that for Local Love. I hope I'm organizing this okay. I feel like I'm just still really new to the whole podcast thing, obviously, and to organizing it along, but I just want it to be casual. I just want to see what you guys come up with, so yeah, I think it'll be really fun. So the only other thing I want to mention, so the woolful.com is a great resource for learning about locally sourced wools. You might have heard about it. It's a podcast as well. I'm really behind on episodes. It's an audio podcast, and it's run by a lady named Ashley Yosling, I think is how you say her last name. I'm not quite sure. But she and her husband have been working on a fiber mill in Idaho. They bought this property and they want to start a mill. And I'm really behind on keeping up with her, and I feel really bad about that because I really love her whole message and her whole mission with the mill and with her podcast. It's all about kind of knowing where your wool comes from, knowing where your materials are being sourced from. And it's a really beautiful podcast, and I was really into it when it first started a few months ago, or I guess it was last year when it started. But I'm really behind on episodes. I think I've missed maybe like 15 to 20 episodes, so I really want to catch up with that. She has really nice interviews with people across the fiber industry, so anywhere from owners of local yarn shops to yarn dyers to designers she even interviewed the owner of Brittany Needles, which is a USA-made needle company. So it's really great if you're looking for more information about local wool and things like that. So that's the woolful.com podcast. And another thing I'm kind of getting into, I also really love the Fringe Association blog. That's fringeassociation.com. And right now there is, it's led by, her name is Kathy Cadigan, and she's doing Slow Fashion October. So she even created an Instagram account for it, Slow Fashion October, and you can use the hashtag Slow Fashion October. And this is she kind of outlined the basic idea of it on her blog, and she's going week by week with kind of a different theme, but it's kind of totally left up to your interpretation of what slow fashion means to you. And so I'm really excited about this. I've definitely been trying to put a lot more thought into my wardrobe and the things that I make, and making sure that the things that I make are going to fit into my wardrobe, and they're not just things that I'm making because I saw a pattern and I thought it was cool, and then I realized later that it doesn't really fit in with my style. So yeah, I've been putting a lot of thought into really taking the time to think about how different pieces can go together and what will work with what I already have. And this goes, this is, so the slow fashion October thing is for, for things that you make, and then as well as things that you purchase that, maybe you go thrift store shopping, so you're getting secondhand things. For example, I have like a pair of boots that I wear all the time, and I bought them on Etsy, but they're from a thrift shop on Etsy, and I really like the fact that they've been around for a while already, and they're really well made, and I know that they're gonna last me for a long time. So yeah, I've been trying to put a lot of thought into to different things that I buy across the board with clothing and accessories, and I really want to learn how to sew so that I can do my own shirts to go under my sweaters and things like that. I I go I shop a lot at Kohl's, which I always find things that I love at Kohl's, and the stuff that I buy there generally lasts for a long time. But sometimes I'll buy something from Kohl's or maybe from Target, and it'll just fall apart really quickly, and it might be something that I really like I'll buy it and I'll really love it, but then the strap will break or the seam will come apart, and that's just so frustrating, because it's something that I would wear for a long time if it wasn't just so um, basically poorly made. And I know it's because the clothing industry is like, there's just so much throwaway fashion, and it's frustrating for somebody who, I'm not necessarily a throwaway fashion person. When I buy clothing, I want it to last me for a long time, and generally it does. Generally, I'm able to wear stuff for a very long time, and but yeah, it's really frustrating when I buy something from one of those stores and then it just falls apart, and so that really makes me want to get more towards my own like completely handmade wardrobe with things that I sew, things that I knit. So that's what the slow fashion October thing is all about, and I'm really excited to be putting a lot of thought into what that means to me over the course of this month and beyond. And so yeah, those are just some other blogs and things that I've been really keeping up with lately that I wanted to put out there. So I think with that, I'm over an hour now. This is, I think, definitely my longest podcast to date. I feel like I was rambling a lot, but I hope that it was somewhat coherent for at least some of the time. And yeah, I'm really excited for Rhinebeck coming up so soon, and I hope to chat with you on Ravelry and on Instagram, and thank you for watching. um, and yeah, I'm just really excited about everything knitting lately. So I hope you're enjoying your projects, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.